Hello everyone, and welcome back to Odoo Experience, and also welcome back to those who attended my first talk, where I had the chance to introduce a new dashboard in V16. In this talk, however, we're going to go to a deeper level and see how we can configure and customize a dashboard from scratch. So my name is Richard. I'm part of the business analyst team and also part of the expertise, and I will be presenting this topic to you today. So if you cross the border and are part of the digital world, well, congratulations, welcome to you. And you'll have the chance, I imagine, to have an ERP system, in the name of Odoo, of course, that will give you the unique opportunity to gather the new gasoline of our era. It is data, right? Data is the new resources that you need to have in order to create value for your business. I want to make a small analogy here. Data can be seen as your new petroleum, right? So you can find data in a very raw state, right, in your database. You can think of data as crude oil. Crude oil can be found in underground reservoir, right? You'll need to collect it, then maybe transform it, refine it in order to get the final petroleum, which will be the actual asset that you can use in order to create value, right? If you can achieve great things with petroleum, you can go to the restaurant, you can go to parties, whatsoever. What I want you to understand is that data, when refined, will become KPIs, and then KPIs will give value for your business as you're able to take informed decisions. And this creates value for both your business and your customers, right? So for today, let's talk about Dashboard V16, which will be, you understood, the new central point for your decision making, right? So for those who missed my previous talk, now the dashboards in V16 are completely integrated with Odoo spreadsheets and also with Odoo menus in a dynamic and very configurable setting, meaning that you can use Excel formula, right, in order to make some computations and also have really clean graph that will be dynamically updated based on Odoo data as well. So it creates an enormous value for your business. So for today's context, I would like to put you in the frame of a specific company, right, a retail company that produces wooden furniture. So we'd say desk, table, chairs, whatsoever. Your sales teams have acquired a new level of expertise recently. You know, we work with several different types of wood, right? So you have more or less robust woods with different aspects. So the key question here you're trying to answer is that your salesperson needs to find the best fit for your customer in order to find the most robust yet affordable wood, while also giving a great aspect, right? So all this aspect there is really important for your sales team to convince the customer, and now you would like to measure their performance. And in order to measure their performance, let's agree on several goals that the dashboard will be able to achieve. The first one would be that you want to track the expected revenues based on current negotiations, meaning that when you have some prospects, you have a negotiation going on, and you expect a certain revenue if you are able to convert. This would be the first measure. The second one would be to monitor the lead conversion rate. So it measures how efficient your teams are in closing deals. So we'd have, for example, 10 prospects, and then being able to close 5 deals means that you have a 50% conversion rate at the moment. Finally, we want to make a dashboard which is quite interactive, so meaning that you can have filters in order to explore data, and also configure some menu access for an optimal navigation, meaning you can easily access certain points in Odoo really quickly. So now let's jump straight into dashboards. So going here into dashboard, you'll see that I'm on the Odoo database. The dashboard app will be the pink one there, where you can see all the several standard dashboards that are there, but we are going to create a new one, right? If you are to create a new dashboard, you need to understand that dashboards are now linked to Odoo spreadsheets. So you also need Odoo documents. And Odoo documents here allows you to create a new spreadsheet. So let's say that you create a new spreadsheet from there, and then you can create a new blank one. This one will be called new CRM demo OXP, for example. Right? So this spreadsheet will be the basis for your dashboard. So everything will be configured and displayed there in order for your dashboard to be lively and also dynamic. Now, in the dashboard, you see that on the different menus there, you have several groups. So sales with 2 dashboards in it, then CRM with 2 other ones, right? And also finance. We can create a new group so that you can easily find your new dashboard. And let's create it right here. So I'll call it new OXP custom dashboard, for example, right? And this will be our new category. This category, of course, does not exist yet because there's no dashboard in there, but as soon as there will be one, it will appear here on the menu, right? So let's start. So you want to have an overview of your CRM. So you need to understand that when you have an Odoo spreadsheet, so this one, you want to be able to have some data sources. when you want to input Odoo data into an actual spreadsheet, they come in 3 different forms. So you can either insert a graph view, so an existing graph in Odoo, or a list view, or a pivot view. Let me show you how they look like. So if you go to CRM, you'll see that all the different opportunities you have are first displayed in a Kanban view. You can move it to the list view, where you're able to insert it in spreadsheet, right? You can also insert a pivot view with this button here, insert in spreadsheet once again. And the last type would be the graph view. So those kind of graphs, we can have bar chart, line charts, anything else, right? So for now, let's agree on a good graph to have. Let's say I would like to group all the opportunities by salesperson and also by stage, right? So you could have something like this, really interesting for you. So you can see how many opportunities there are per salesperson and also in which stage they are at the moment, right? From there, I'm able to choose whether I can have stacked bars, so everything on top of the other, or separate bars. I can also sort it by descending numbers to see which are the best sales people, for example, right? And let's say that I have a time data series. You could also choose to go for a line chart. However, it is not really the best choice here, so let's just stick with the bar chart, right? So I'm quite happy with this. It gives a nice overview. It's quite visual. Let's insert it in a spreadsheet. So from there, I can just insert it in the existing spreadsheet, and this is how it looks like. I will just put it there and then also edit it. I would like to change the name, for example, by salespeople, right? And also change the legend position at the bottom. I think it looks better, right? Quite good. That's the first type. But now let's keep in mind that we also want to keep track of the expected revenue, right? In order to do this, what I recommend is to use a pivot view. A pivot view is, let me show you, this kind of table. So you need to understand it this way. This table has 2 dimensions, right? So on the top and the left. And you'll be able to aggregate data based on certain dimensions, meaning that, for example, I would be able to group it by month, say the expected closing by month, and also group it by salesperson. Removing this filter there, I can see it for all salespeople. And this is quite good, right? So this is the right way to use a pivot table. However, this is not really the right way to interact with dashboards. The reason I say that is because here you're able to quickly see all the different numbers, but in your dashboard you only want a single number, right? So only one number which gets dynamically affected by which filter you put, which period you are trying to explore, and so on. So this is not the right way to do it. What you need to focus on are the measures, right? So in this case, I will just remove the groupings. And I'm interested in the expected revenue and also maybe the count. The count will be the number of opportunities that are linked to the current expected revenue that you see there, right? Also, a quick note for the rest. I will add a specific dimension, though. It will be useful for later, you'll see. It will be this is one stage. So you can easily see also which are the pending opportunities and which one are already won, right? Let's insert it in spreadsheet. Again, on this new CRM demo OXP. And there we go. You'll see that every time I add a new data source, it opens a new sheet with the data in there, right? This is different formulas on each cell that gathers and retrieves, I should say, data from the pivot table dynamically, right? So every time it changes, this formula will be refreshed and all the values will be up to date. You need to understand that also all the data sources can be found in this menu here in data, and you'll be able to find all the pivot tables that you inserted and all the lists that you inserted as well. You can rename it just for you to understand what you did back then. Expected revenue by sales people, for example, right? Also, you'll be able to see the different configurations that you chose at the time. So here I'm only interested in opportunities, not the leads, and also which dimension you chose at the time and which measures as well, right? So here, what we want to design is some KPIs. So for KPIs, there's a specific type of chart that I would like to show you. And it works the following way. You would only select a cell, right? So let's take the total to see the total revenues, not really differentiating between pending and won opportunities, just the total. And from there, I'm able to insert a chart, right? And from the chart, I can choose these different types of charts, right? So gauge, for example, a line chart, why not? And also a scorecard here. It is really interesting for KPIs because from there you can have a key value. The key value will be the main value displayed. And then you can also choose a baseline value. The baseline value is actually a reference, right? Under which we'll be able to make a comparison, right? So here, what I can do is that I can just make a quick reference, let's say 1 million to match the number down there. And then in the baseline, I'm able to choose it and confirm. And now you'll see that the baseline was used to compare it to the current number of this pivot table that evolves with the data that is generated by Odoo. From there, I can also choose to either display the absolute value, right, the value change, or the percentage as well, right? Concerning the design here, I find the red is a bit too offensive. Let's just switch it back to orange, meaning that now if I change it to 2 millions and I have a negative contribution, you could say, now it is orange. It is less aggressive. It doesn't look like everything is on fire, so it's a bit better, right? This scorecard right here could be also adapted. For example, I could use something using an Excel formula, right? So let's say that here I would like to have the average expected revenue instead of the total. I can just use an Excel formula there using this total number divided by the number of opportunities, right? From there, I have this average, and I can, again, edit it from here and use it with a different key value. So for now, it is B5. I would like to use D8 instead. I can just write D8, confirm, and have this new metric here, right? This new cell based on an Excel formula. Note that every formula is available, right? So sum, average, VLOOKUPs, anything you name it. Most of the formula are available in Odoo spreadsheet as well. From there, you can just cut it and insert it in the main overview that we'd like to have here, right? So I can just put it there, resize it a little bit, right? Oops, it looks good like this. Really nice. Now let's take the second metric we'd like to measure. It was the lead conversion rate. And this is why we also had a look at the pending and won opportunities, because now I'm able to make a new ratio. This new ratio for the lead conversion rate will be the number of won opportunities over the total opportunities that you have, right? Be careful here of the format. By default, it is automatic. It understands it as a text, for example. You need to put it into a number, right? So you have the proper ratio. And from there, once again, insert, chart, and then scorecard. Scorecard, once again, it appears in a very big format. Let's just put a title there so it's clear for everyone. Lead conversion rate. Conversion rates, right there. Good. Again, I'm able to insert it, cut, and then copy right there, resize it once again, and I think we could take more space. Right there, I can resize it. Looks better like this, right? Nice. So now I would like to share a new trick with you. It's really specific, and you'll understand why it's so useful. The interesting thing we will be able to see is, say, the top 5 salespeople, right? So here you have the list, of course, with the bar graph. But let's say you want to have a specific list, and it will be useful for later. In order to achieve that, you will go to CRM, once again, the pivot view, and then I will make a different sorting here. I will sort it and aggregate it by salesperson, right? Remove this filter, of course, to have everyone. And also, if I click here on an expected revenue, I'm able to sort the values. So let's put it in a descending scheme, meaning that here you have the top salesperson for that day, for that period, sorry, and then all the others that goes in a descending scheme. Then I'll insert it in spreadsheet, once again, in this new CRM demo OXP sheet, and there we go. And a new sheet, once again. Now, if we dig into this formula here, you'll understand that this formula retrieves data from the second pivot view, so that's the second pivot that we inserted here, and it looks for the information and the metric for a specific user which has the ID 16, for example, right? In order for you to make a dynamic list, you need to have some order in it. In order to do so, you'll change the formula and put an hashtag here before user ID, and then change the 16, which was the ID of the user, to 1, meaning the number 1, right? So the top salesperson in the pivot view, right? You'll also change it in the value, of course. So once again here, an hashtag, and then 1, right? And from there, you'll be able to drag this formula here, and let's put the top 5, for example. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there. I can just reformat it as well. And then here, I just created a podium. I have the top 5 salespeople in the opportunities that I'm trying to explore right now in this given period, in this given frame, right? This list, I can just copy it and put it, for example, here, put a small title so that it's clear for everyone, top 5 sales people, right? From there, it looks really good. I'll go now to the dashboard. How are you able to promote a spreadsheet to a dashboard? You can just go to File, and then Add to Dashboard. From there, you can select a new name. I'll just do Dashboard, for example, right? And put it in this previous group that I created. I'm also able to choose the different group of users. I have access to it right now. Let's keep it for everyone for now. So every internal user are able to see it, and then create. This is our spreadsheet. Looks really good. It looks a bit static though. So everything here is just a blank sheet with some data. That's really cool, but I would like to also interact with it. In order to do it, there's two ways to make it more interactive. It was filters and menu access. So let's just jump into it. Oh wait, there's a quick note I forgot to make here. You need to understand that as soon as you promote a spreadsheet to a dashboard, they get duplicated, and you have two spreadsheets. So you have the spreadsheet in Odoo document that you first created, so that one, right? And if you write something here, who is this Asian guy? If you write something here, it will not appear on the dashboard, right? So it is a separate spreadsheet now. If you'd like to configure a spreadsheet of this specific dashboard, you go to Configuration, Dashboards, and then here you could edit it, and now it will appear if I write something like, what is this Asian guy saying? Now if I go to Dashboard, this is the actual spreadsheet that uses the data that you edited. Now, moving to filters, Configuration, Dashboards once again. Here I will edit. The filters are found on the top right corner, right? So on this filter. In order to create a new filter for your spreadsheet and dashboard, you first need to select the type of data that you want to filter upon, right? You could have the date, a text, and also relation. I will come back on this one later. Let's just start with the date for now. So date. Let's just put a name, just a specific date. I would like to be able to filter data based on the month, let's say. So I'll select month. Make sure that the current month is already put when I arrive on the dashboard. And then you need to make some field matching. Field matching means that you want to specify to Odoo to which field it needs to filter when I select a month, right? So if I select the month of September, on which type of dates am I going to filter? For now, I would like to filter on the expected closing, for example. So let's just select it for every single data source that I have. Expected closing once again, and then save. Right, so here I have September. I can change it to July. Oh, you see that there's some error here. You can just adapt it. The error is because I didn't have any opportunity at that time. So what I can do is just go back here and then use a quick formula, if error, that will stay empty if there's an error, of course. If there's nothing in there, I can just make sure that Odoo doesn't display an ugly if error message on the card, right? So I have this and this, and I think that's good, right? So everything now is a bit clearer. And so now I can filter on August, on September. I have all the data that is automatically and dynamically changed on this filter. Let's create now a new filter on relation. So relation, you need to understand that when you make a filter on a relation, it is towards an object that already exists in the Odoo database. It could be either a user, a sales team, a country, right? So something tangible that is already existing in the database. Let's say that in this case, I would like to create a filter on the salesperson. So I'll just make salesperson here and link it to users, right? Because all your salesperson are users in the database. So the related model or object are users. Then again, field matching, I won't make it on the responsible user as it is suggested, but rather on the salesperson. Salesperson right there, salesperson right here as well. Salesperson and then save, right? Let's look at how it looks like here. Now I have a filter, so I can access the dashboard and make dynamic changes right there using the filters. Also able to choose some filters from here, right, saying what Chloe did. And the interesting thing is with my previous pivot table with the podium of the top 5 salespeople, is that now I'm able to click on it and have dynamic filters based on this. The way it works is that since you have an object and a pivot table that uses the same type of data, as the filter, Odoo is smart and understands that you want to look at this specific value and adds the filter on the top automatically, right? Really great. Last thing I want to show you to make it more interactive is the access to menu. So configuration dashboard right here, edit. In this graph, you are able to edit it and link it to an existing Odoo menu. So every Odoo menu that you find in the database, you can make it accessible directly from the graph. So here I just put the My Pipeline menu, for example, right? And then save. And now if you go to this dashboard and you click on this specific graph, it will automatically direct you to this menu. Perfect, right? So from there, you can say, okay, right, but I don't want this pipeline. You can just remove it also and make it so that you have the menu linked directly in the spreadsheet with this specific view. So without the filter that appears automatically, you will insert it in the dashboard, not the spreadsheet. Make sure you don't forget that. And then now you have this menu. If you copy paste it in the sheet there, and then go back to dashboard, if you click on pipeline, you arrive on this menu without the filter. Perfect. And that concludes the demo that I wanted to show you for the first configuration. Now there's a small note I want to make about access rights. When you want to manage the access to your dashboards, if you don't specify a normal group, it will be set on internal users, so every user in your database is able to see it, right? As soon as you set a specific group, only this group may have access. So it means that if you are on your dashboard, here you set a different group, let's say for this one. For now, everyone is able to see it. Let's say that only the sales own documents are able to see it. Let's use a specific colleague of mine, users, Robin. Robin, for now, is part of this group, sales own documents, so he will be able to see it. Let's check this. So Robin is there, and if he goes to dashboard, he's able to see it, right? If I change his access rights for the dashboards, right there, configuration here on groups, I want to make it only available for admins, let's say. So sales admin here, there we go. And then you go to Robin once again. If you reload the page, he's able to see it because I forgot to change another setting and the users right there. So Robin, and then I remove it from here to access rights, sorry, and then save. If I do that on Robin, it will be updated if I refresh my page right there, and now he's not able to see it anymore, right? And last thing that I want to mention is that you need to be careful of group inheritance, meaning that if you have another group that is above the lowest one, he will still have access. The last thing, the additional spreadsheets are only allowed for a specific group, administration settings. There's a lot of things to say, but it's already at the end of this talk. So I would like to conclude here. I hope you were able to follow along and also get some points that you need to take attention when you configure your spreadsheets. Now, you have to keep in mind that for your tailored needs, you need a tailored configuration, of course. It's hard to cover everything. I just hope that my modest thought process were able to help you to understand how to manage your dashboard. And for now, I would just like to wait for your questions, and thank you for your attention. Dashboard is the, let me show you here, on the user, is the administration settings group, so the highest group in the database. And here it also makes sense, because if you are trying to monitor and to create dashboard based on all the models in the database, you need access to everything. Right?
Okay, makes sense. We have another interesting question, which I also thought of. What will happen to future data? So let's say we do a dashboard today. What will happen if tomorrow we do a lot of new sales? Will all that data be updated automatically?
Right. So it is the case. Actually, as we saw together, I just created a new purchase, right, and a new transfer. It got directly detected and displayed on the dashboard. We can also make an example together, but like if I create a new user and a new opportunity, for example, it will also show up in the database. But it kind of covers the same topic as I was showing before, but indeed it will be the case.
Okay, interesting. Another interesting question, can we manage dashboard with multi-company? So have information from company A, B, and C, and maybe have a comparison between?
That's a good question. Actually, I haven't thought about this process, so I think the product owner would be the best here to answer this question. I've only considered the different cases for one single company, so maybe the multi-company case is a bit trickier to understand, but probably we took care of it.
Okay, so we have time for one more question. It's a funny one. Is it possible to export the data from Odoo spreadsheets in an Excel file, for example, to rework the data elsewhere?
So it depends. The thing is, Odoo Spreadsheet aims to provide an insight tool, an inbuilt tool that will be available already in Odoo. The goal is not really to export it in the first place. However, you are still able to go on a spreadsheet, of course, let's use this one, you're always able to download it as an Excel. The thing is, if you download this, you will only get the value and not the interactive and dynamic data source that you had before in Odoo. That was the advantage of using only Odoo.
Indeed. Okay, well, thank you very much. I see
Thank
there
you,
are some other questions, but don't hesitate to find us after the talk if you want to really ask questions. Thank you very much.